Hello everybody. Well, I don't know what you do on a wet, dark Christmas Eve, but I thought it was a good opportunity for me to make another video. In this case, I wanted to talk about the Filofax Notebook series, which are a set of democratically priced books which are quite a good alternative to ring-bound organizer systems. They come in a multitude of sizes and a multitude of designs. They come in A4 size. I don't have an A4 to show you. A5 size, which are these ones are A5. Pocket size, which these two are, and the minis. The pocket are close to A6 but not quite. The mini are close to A7 but not quite. So if we look a bit closer, okay, bear with me. Put my information here. So this is the A5. Ignore that stuff there. So that's the A5, and this is exactly A5, as you can see. Okay, put that back in. These pockets are smaller than A6 slightly. So this is an A6 sheet. It's about 1 centimeter off in terms of the width, and about half a centimeter off in terms of the height. So there's the difference between an A6 size and these personal notebooks. And these minis are not quite A7. So there's the mini, and this is A7, and as you can see, it's almost exactly the same height, maybe a millimeter off, but it's about half a centimeter less wide. So there's the comparison. Okay, the pricing is a little weird. I don't know why. They come in a whole range of pricing for no specific reason, and sometimes you can buy a larger notebook for less than the price of a smaller one. So the A4 notebooks I found in a range of prices between 18 euros and 26 euros 50. These A5 ones I found in a range of prices between 13 euros and 22 euros, so you can buy an A4 cheaper than some A5s. The pockets I have found in the price range of about 14 euros, almost all of them about 14 euros. So you can actually buy sometimes an A5 cheaper than a pocket. And these minis, now these minis are not to be found on the Filofax website, at least I haven't been able to find them. I get the impression, because they're probably quite niche, quite sweet dinky little things, but not traditional size, that these are end of line and probably won't be remade. So I found them, you can find them on eBay or on Amazon, but they're not going to be around for much longer, I think. And they are available for between 5 and 9 euros. The designs are all basically the same. There are two major structural differences between the different versions. The major difference is that some of them do not have an elastic close, and some of them do. So this one doesn't have an elastic close, this one does. That's basically the major difference between all of them. Otherwise, they all have the same structural design. They are made of plastic or polyurethane or whatever that is. Nothing on the inside, no pockets inside, no pockets at the back, just the cover, with or without this closure. They come in a huge range of colors and designs. As you can see, I have green one, grey with a bright yellow interior here. This monstrosity, which has a textured cover, I think was a freebie from Euro, from Planacon. Not something I'd choose myself, but you know, lots of people like this stuff. And you can see different colors here. They are, because of the material they're made from, they are ideal if you want to use washi tape on them, if you want to color them, if you want to paint them, if you want to use inks on them, you can do so to your heart's content. As well, of course, because of the material, they do tend to pick up the dirt. I'm not very house proud, so you can see occasionally some marks on these ones I have. And they use a ring system which is very similar to the Staples arc or the Levinger Circle system, with the difference that it's a wire-based system and the wires are not individually separated. So if you look at the back here, you can see that the wires are on a frame. So it's a one wire, so it's one unit, as opposed to systems like the Staples arc, where you have the discs are all separate and you can take each disc out separately. So it's a similar idea, but differently designed, and the same advantages and disadvantages apply to those disk-based systems, in as much that you can take pages out and pop them back in again. So they have the advantages of a ring-bound system in that flexibility. However, as always with these systems, you can't move paper around too often, because the chads that hold the paper in place will tend to wear out and it becomes looser and may drop out after a while. So yes, of course you can use washi tape, of course you can strengthen these links. That's not the issue. The point is, in its most basic form, it's less rugged than a ring-based system. And this system is very compact, as you can see. The rings are very small, so it's very compact. And because the rings are small, there is a little bit of movement of the paper when you close this. So when you close a ring system, it always pushes the paper towards the edge. And you can see that happening here. It pushes the paper towards the edge as you close it. But it's because they're small rings, it's not a big amount of movement. So this is fairly compact. So the A5, for example, here, the folder itself is not hugely larger than the paper inside it, and that makes it a very nice compact system. Of course, it's no good if you want to really stuff the system with information and paper and so on, but it's quite useful for you know, carrying around with you. You can buy a lot of refills for this. So you can buy a year planner, month planners, you can buy dividers, pockets, meal planners, password lists, project and goal planners, wellness trackers, and so on. You can't get diary refills, so you can't get a page per day or a page per week or a week on 2 pages. That's not available from Filofax, at least. You can certainly print your own. You can probably get them from Etsy or other suppliers. So actually you have everything you need here to have a cheap alternative to a ring-bound system. But you'd have to put a little bit of effort into it, because, as I said, some stuff isn't available. What you're also missing, incidentally, is a pen loop. You can, of course, buy Filofax pen loop, or like in this case, you can buy a Leuchtturm pen loop, which you can attach to one of the dividers or to the actual material of the folder itself to use as a pen loop if you wish. Let me have a look at what I've written here. What do they come with? Well, the different designs come slightly different slightly different versions, but generally they come with the Filofax ruler, page divider here, a set of paper. Sometimes it's plain, lined paper the other way, squared paper, or dotted paper. It depends on the version you buy. And then they come with dividers. So even this little mini one has been provided with a little baby Filofax 6 centimeter divider ruler there, and two little dividers here. I should say that the mini divider is slightly different from the rest because it's not a pocket. So this is just a standard divider, but anything from the pocket version upwards, and this first divider actually has a pocket on it, which is useful for storing stuff. So let me just show you this. So this is the A5 version. When you take it off the rings, this is open, this side is open. But when it's on the rings, this is closed. So you can quite happily put paper in here and it won't drop out. So that's the first folder always. By the way, you can see here I've had, this has been deformed because I've had paper clips on here. Obviously this being plastic, this is what happens to them. So, you know, this is cheap stuff. You can treat it roughly, but it will show the marks afterwards. If you want to make your own, if you want to use these and put your own inserts into it and put your own paper into it, that can be done because Filofax has a, let me try and, there we go, has a hole punch which you can buy. I say you can buy it, it's actually quite difficult to get hold of. It's very often out of stock. I had to wait ages on order to get this one, and then it went out of stock again immediately. It's still out of stock, at least in Germany. So they're not easy to get hold of. It cost about 40 euros. Now, I'm not a fan of Filofax hole punches. I find them fairly, they're not robust. This one feels quite heavy, feels quite robust, but you can't put more than 1 or 2 pages in here to be punched at one time. Okay, so it feels like when you punch a hole in it, it feels like it's going to seize up, you know. And if you read the reviews, a lot of people say it seizes up quite quickly. You have to spend a lot of time doing pages one by one, because if you put more than 2 or 3 in at once, it gets blocked. As I said, about 40 euros this one. There are other ones available. For example, if you have the Staples Arc system, the Staples Arc Punch is a beauty. It's just because it has this fantastic leverage, you know, this system that pushes down like this. You can punch more pages at once. So 8 or 9 pages for the Arc is no problem. And it goes through the paper like hot knife through butter. It's really, it doesn't feel like it's ever going to seize up. It's really, really tough. A little bit more expensive, 48 euros, but a good alternative. However, they're not exactly, they don't produce exactly the same results. So let me show you. These are the holes you get from the Filofax. Because of the way because the Staples Arc has to go on a ring. Let me just show you. This is just a reminder, this is the Staples Arc system that has to go onto these rings, and these rings have a thickness. Okay, so the thickness of the channel here is greater in the Staples Arc version than in the Filofax version, and of course the holes created are slightly different. But if you compare them, they are almost the same width apart. When you go down the page at the top here, you can see the same. At the bottom, there's about 2 millimeters difference. This is A5, and you could actually use an arc if you wanted to with an A5 system or below. Probably not going to work with an A4. I can't test it, but I think the gap would be too great by the time you got to the bottom of the A4. So, just to show you, this is the Filofax, of course, goes on no problem whatsoever. And this is the arc, goes on ditto, no problem whatsoever. But what you'll notice is that the top, the ring is against the top of the hole, and at the bottom, the ring is pushed to the bottom of the hole because of the slight differences. But it turns no problem. So you could use this if you wanted to, as an alternative. I was going to say something else, I'm sure, but I've forgotten what it was. I'll probably remember just as I post the video online, never mind. Also, these, of course, they lie open and they lie flat. When you buy the smaller ones initially, when you open them, they don't stay open fully. You have to train it a little bit. But because this is a plastic material, this is very easy to train. It takes no time whatsoever to train those. Okay, so as I said, I think these are good systems. As you can see, I've got quite a number of them. I find them very useful. I don't use them myself as an alternative to a ring-bound system because I'm very happy with the look what I have. But it is an alternative if you want to find, if you want one, because it's only about 1/5 of the price to have everything in here that you would use in a ring-bound system. Of course, because the rings here are quite small, you're limited by how much you can put in here. But depending on how you work, how you organize yourself, it's a possibility. Okay, I hope you found this useful, and see you again next time.